And yeah, since last time we got our, I don't think we had a meeting since then. So yeah, since then we got our 2.1 release out with our release blog. So that's really exciting. We now have a 2.1 LTS branch as well. So that's nice. Looking forward to hearing people trying that out in the wild and getting feedback on it. I think I do have like a small update on the something from last week as well. I can see the dev agent gateway and kgateway tracing EP. We could talk about that if we need to. Talk about that for a second. I just have a small update, really, that like I think we've made some headway as far as like the API here. If you look at the PR, there's some disagreement on like the API design there. I think this change kind of, stepped on a kind of a thorny problem that we have in general with like agent gateway and kgateway. And while a lot of the API surface is the same because it's gateway API, and then even more of that, even the extended API like traffic policy and some of the backend stuff can be consistent. But there are cases where the API is not consistent. And we are going to have like different API for agent gateway and kgateway, and for the envoy implementation, right? So they're both kgateway, but different for the agent gateway and the envoy implementation. And so just figuring out the best options here, mainly with like that we want to be, with the most important thing in mind, that we want to be consistent moving forward. So like whatever decision we make here, when that can then become our decision moving forward. And I think rather than like have a separate API, we're leaning towards having an individual API that supports 2 different sections, one for each implementation when they do diverge like that. That's the working plan right now. Now, what's going to be important to that is really good statuses. We have some other ideas for like even admission, cell admission webhooks to admission policy to avoid policy that is going in that isn't for the implementation you're using as well. So there's a lot of ways we can get it back to the user, but the most important thing is that we're consistent. It's documented well. We have feedback for status. So we will keep an eye on that PR for updates, and whatever the stance is there, that's really going to be the stance moving forward as we merge things that unfortunately sometimes will have to have like divergent policy for agent gateway and envoy. As far as other things going on, there's definitely some cleanup in progress from since we got that 2.1 released out the door. We're pushing to get some changes in and things that we knew were introduced, and maybe a little tech debt around the agent gateway implementation. Make sure that's a solid foundation moving forward, and that we can build on it and get it to start pushing it towards a more reliable state than what it's in the 2.1 release. I think this got mentioned in the release notes, and something that's worth reiterating here is that for anyone using the agent gateway implementation, we highly recommend sticking with our beta releases. We're going to target doing these every other week about. And because we're calling agent gateway beta, we're not going to be backporting bug fixes or features to the 2.1 branch for agent gateway. The only thing we'll backport is like if there was like a security issue, we backport it. But for agent gateway in general, we're going to be moving forward. We just want to move forward so we can keep iterating quickly and get that to where we want it to be. So yeah, highly recommend sticking with the beta releases. We'll try to be a lot more frequent and consistent with those than we were with like the 2.1 milestone. And I think it's much more important because of this with agent gateway, and we're encouraging users to try to use the latest greatest here. So
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it's important to keep the beta releases. 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 It's important
I think, Ian, there's a new kgateway contributors channel, CNCF, right?
There is. I was just waiting for you to wrap up on the updates to ask if we should discuss that. I'll put a note with a link.
Yes. Going to be encouraging more development in there in the open for stuff that's going on in the open source. So we didn't really have a place for, you know, that kind of dev chatter in CNCF Slack, and I think sometimes we're falling back on the solo one, and we don't want to do that.
And make sure I get the name exactly right.
So you'll see this channel should be getting a lot more active soon, which as we want to encourage more external development, I think will help a lot. I think regarding also just like external contributors, I think Jenny, you were going to make some improvements as well for basically anyone that's not a non-maintainer, to help out with the UX for them, because right now we can't restart, we can't kick CI, we can't restart when we have a flaky test, we can't re-add it to the merge queue or anything like that on a PR that's already been approved by a maintainer and already has passed CI on the PR. Basically, the PR owner should be able to like re-enter it into the queue if that's the case, or re-kick CI. So, you know, Jenny's adding some automation on that, which will also just make the repository more friendly to non-maintainer contributors as people are working to get to that status, because there's a lot of PRs have to get in to become a maintainer. So want to make it seamless to still contribute even if you don't have that. Yeah, that's good guidance, Ian. Keep the general kgateway Slack channel for support questions, announcements. Yep. User, mainly more user focused, right?
Yeah, that's a good call out.
Yeah, that's all I got for today. Anything else, like Jenny, Ian? And I see we have a few other folks joining here. Anyone else have something they'd like to discuss?
Nothing from me. All right, sounds like we might be good to wrap early.
Cool.
Thanks for hosting, Josh.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.